What is up, guys? Del Boy here. So Ted Cheeseman defeats Paulie Upton by a 4th round stoppage to retain his WBA International Super Welterweight title, and he also moves to 14-0. Now, Paulie Upton was a overmatched opponent. I felt that going into this fight, but to Ted Cheeseman's credit, he did exactly what you're supposed to do against an overmatched opponent. You're supposed to blast them out of there in good fashion. Essentially, these type of fights are designed to get guys like Ted Cheeseman over to the public. You know, they're designed to make him look good in front of a bigger audience. And Ted Cheeseman definitely made the most of that opportunity, you know. So credit to him for doing exactly what he was supposed to do, because how often do we see these type of fights and the prospect drags it out and struggles to stop the overmatched opponent? It happens quite a lot. So yeah, credit to Cheeseman for doing exactly what he was supposed to do. As I say, it only took him 4 rounds, you know, and it was a beating from start to finish, basically. You know, in the first 3 rounds, Upton was just taking a beating. He was showing good durability, but he didn't have anything for Ted Cheeseman. Cheeseman was, you know, landing the hardest shots. He was putting his shots together really well. He was picking some really good shots, showing a good variety of shots and displaying good combination punching. I really enjoy the way he picks his shots from the inside. You know, he works the body really well. He creates angles to throw those uppercuts through the middle. You know, really creative offensively as a fighter is Ted Cheeseman. Also on the front foot, I am impressed with Cheeseman. Keeps a good balance. You know, he can punch moving forward, which isn't easy to do, by the way. If you've boxed before, it's not easy to punch going forward or backwards for that matter. It's hard to punch on the move, and Cheeseman does a really good job at it. You know, he keeps good balance while doing it, and he can also get power when he's moving forward. So, you know, Cheeseman, he's a different type of fighter. You know, he's different from the usual UK prospects, and he's exciting. But regardless, yeah, I mean, Cheeseman dominates the first 3 rounds, and it culminated in round 4, where Cheeseman drops Upton with a lovely uppercut. It was in kind of an exchange, you know, Upton threw a shot, and, you know, Cheeseman catches him with a lovely timed uppercut. It drops Upton quite hard. That shot would have knocked out a lot of fighters, so credit to Upton for actually beating the count. But it was just a matter of time. Upton, you know, he got up and was dropped a further 3 times, and the fight was called off. You know, I think the fight could have actually been called off a little bit earlier. It was starting to get a little bit ugly in there, you know. But credit to Paulie Upton for, you know, showing some good heart and not wanting to quit. You know, he could have easily quit in that fight, but he didn't. So credit to him, and again credit to Ted Cheeseman for doing exactly what he was supposed to do. Now, Ted Cheeseman's future. I've seen a few people on Twitter kind of rave about this guy. Like I said, he's an exciting fighter. He does things differently to most UK prospects, but you've got to take things into... you've got to put things in context. The super welterweight division is quite a tough division, and given his style, I'm not sure whether he can take himself all the way to the top of the division, to be quite honest with you. I think he does well domestically. I think he can go to European level, win a European title. But once he starts to move to world level, I think he may struggle, you know. Like I said, Ted Cheeseman is a come-forward fighter. He's aggressive. And, you know, let's take Jermell Charlo, for example. I think Ted Cheeseman is tailor-made for someone like Jermell Charlo. You know, Charlo's going to be sort of scampering on the back foot, making Cheeseman walk into jabs and right hands. And I feel that stylistically, I feel that Cheeseman is just too open for Jermell Charlo, somebody like that. And the other 2 champions, you've got Jarrett Hurd and Jamie Munguia. Again, these 2 are come-forward fighters who are bigger than Ted Cheeseman. They hit harder than Cheeseman. They've got more experience than Cheeseman. I just think they walk through him, to be honest with you. So if we're talking about world level, no, he's not ready. And for my money, he wouldn't have a chance against any of the champions right now. So I feel that they need to hold him back a little bit in terms of going to world level. You know, I'd wait till some of these guys move out of the division, to be honest with you. And in the meantime, you know, I'd get this guy in domestic level fights. Now, domestically, they're talking about a Sam Eggington fight. I would definitely pick Ted Cheeseman to beat Eggington. I think Eggington naturally is going to have success in that fight because Cheeseman comes forward, and Eggington comes forward. So he's going to get his shots off on the inside. He's going to get some work done. But I feel that Cheeseman is a lot more crisp. He's a lot more accurate. He's more powerful. He's just more dynamic. He's a more dynamic fighter than Sam Eggington. And I feel he's going to be picking his spots. He's going to be picking the more hurtful shots. And he's probably going to get a late stoppage over Sam Eggington. Not only that, I'd imagine that Ted Cheeseman is going to be the hardest hitter Eggington's ever fought. And Eggington was getting hurt at welterweight. And that could have been partly due to the weight cut. But I'm not sold on Eggington's chin. And he was getting hurt by non-punchers as well at welterweight. So I'd pick Ted Cheeseman to have too much variety, too much accuracy, too much creativity for Sam Eggington. And I'd pick Cheeseman to beat Eggington. Now, another fight that's been mentioned is a fight with Anthony Fowler. I'm not completely sold on Anthony Fowler, I've got to say. I think he's quite ordinary, actually, in terms of his all-round skill set. But one thing I've heard about Fowler is that, number one, he's got a great chin, and number two, he's got a great gas tank. Now, that hasn't been proven in the pro ranks yet. But if that's the case, I think just stylistically, it's a hard fight for Cheeseman. If Fowler could take what Cheeseman had to offer and take him into the second half of the fight, I think it would be really interesting to see how Cheeseman dealt with that, Cheeseman is very high output, he's very high octane. So if you've got a guy like Fowler who's coming forward, making him working the body, it's going to be interesting to see how Cheeseman deals with that. I felt Carson Jones, don't get me wrong, Cheeseman clearly beat Carson Jones, but that was a very old Carson Jones. And even in that fight, there are times when Cheeseman kind of stepped off the gas, and I felt that the pressure of Carson Jones was getting to him a little. So if you've got a young, fresh Anthony Fowler coming forward, working the body, making it a really tough night, it's going to be interesting to see how Cheeseman deals with that, And not only that, we're still not really sure how good Cheeseman's chin is. I know he took some good shots off Carson Jones, but again, I felt there was a couple of times when Carson Jones hurt Ted Cheeseman, and he never really jumped on him properly. So yeah, I do like Ted Cheeseman. He's exciting. He's got a lot of good things going for him. Offensively, I really like him. Puts his shots together well. Relatively good hand speed, solid power, good accuracy. Cheeseman's a good fighter, and he's going to have a good career because he's exciting. But, I'm not sure how high his ceiling is, I'm not quite sure yet. What do you guys think? Peace.